The death of liminal spaces and the backrooms. Liminal spaces, as defined by Wikipedia, are empty or abandoned places that appear eerie, forlorn, and often surreal. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with this concept, this may seem like a very vague description, and it is. And for those of you who are more accustomed to the idea of liminal spaces, you may feel that this definition does not do justice to the experience one may get from viewing photos like these. In both of these perspectives, I believe come as a result of the death of the liminal space genre. Hello everybody, my name is Aiden, and today we are going to be talking about the rise of liminal spaces on the internet and what I believe to be the subsequent death of the concept as a result of its popularity. Now I'm sure you are all a bit overwhelmed, especially if you have never heard of liminal spaces before, but don't worry, as I will be breaking this video into 5 sections with the purpose of educating you all on what a liminal space is and how it has affected internet culture at large. But before we get into it, remember that if you enjoy this video, you should subscribe to the channel, as it really does help me out a lot. But without further ado, let's get into part 1 of the video. What is a liminal space? As stated earlier, a liminal space is a location typically devoid of people, usually an abandoned place, but in my opinion, a liminal space is much more than these characteristics, and a vital part of the liminal experience is in the namesake. Liminality comes from the Latin word limen, meaning threshold, and it is the quality of ambiguity that one experiences while being between two states or locations. Locations some might find liminal include sites like subways or roads. Both of these places are commonly visited, but they are almost always used as a means of transportation. They are the link between two places or events and therefore lack context. And that really is the key to what makes a place liminal. It's all about context. Picture this. You fall asleep one night and you wake up and you are at a restaurant. You may be confused as how you got to that restaurant, but you know why you're there. You know why people go to restaurants. People go to restaurants because they want to eat. You are at a destination and you know the context as to why you may be in that situation. Now let's change the scenario. You fall asleep one night, and when you wake up, you are at a bus stop. You don't know how or why you are there, but you are. You know that people go to the bus stop to travel somewhere, but you don't know where you are going. You don't know if you are supposed to be leaving for a location or if you are supposed to be returning home. The context of the situation is gone. You have no idea where you've been, where you are going, but you know that you have to go somewhere. So you wait at the bus stop, not knowing where the bus will take you when it gets there. Your mind wanders, wondering where your destination may be, and then a thought crosses your mind. What if the bus never comes? This is a perfect example of not only a liminal space, but a situation where you are engulfed by liminality. And this is because all of the context has been stripped. Now look at these two photos. One of them undoubtedly more unsettling than the other, and that is because one of them lacks context. Now let's address another common feature that isn't necessarily vital to making a photo liminal, but undoubtedly helps. And this is nostalgia. Look at these photos. They may seem familiar to you, like you've been there once before, or maybe even you've seen them before in a dream. And this is common, hence why you can find hundreds if not thousands of compilations on YouTube containing liminal spaces titled something along the lines of places you've been before, or places you've seen in your dreams. And this is because something nostalgic often can lead to feelings of déjà vu, which is the feeling that you've experienced something before. And this feeling, mixed with the unsettling nature of these photos, along with the lack of context, make up the way it feels to face liminality. At this point, I hope that you feel more antiquated with the concept of liminal spaces, and we can move on to part 2, the rise of liminal spaces on the internet. Even though liminal spaces have always existed, in fact the very first photo ever taken has been called a liminal space by some, liminal spaces did not reach the mainstream until images began to be shared on the internet. It is almost impossible to find the first instance of a liminal space on the internet, as they have always existed. For example, some window wallpapers or photographs of empty spaces, but the first time a photo was ever shared with the intention of creating that liminal feeling was in 2019, when this photo was uploaded to 4chan's Xboard, where the original poster prompted other users to share images that just feel off. As I'm sure many of you know by now, this photo has been titled the Backrooms, and there is an intensive internet lore that surrounds this image, and we will cover that in the next section of this video. But for now, all we have is this post, and this reply an anonymous user left under this post. If you are not careful, and you no-clip out of reality in the wrong areas, you'll end up in the backrooms, where it's nothing but the stink of old moist carpet, the madness of mono yellow, the endless background noise of fluorescent lights at maximum humbuzz, and an approximately 600 million square miles of randomly segmented empty rooms to be trapped in. God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has heard you. This is the comment that planted the seeds for what the Backrooms has become today. And while this post did not get a lot of traction for those who don't use 4chan, the Backrooms was still a well-kept secret of the internet, or at least that was until a YouTuber that I really enjoy posted a YouTube video that added just enough fuel to the flames to allow the Backrooms to snowball into the eyes of many internet users, including myself. The YouTube video titled The Backrooms by content creator Nick Crowley was my and many other people's first exposure to the Backrooms and liminal spaces as a whole. In the video, he details the original post as well as adding his insight into what makes this concept so interesting. After this video came out, there was a noticeable increase in liminal space content, which caught the attention of many online users, but all of this would pale in comparison to what would take place just 3 years later, the Backrooms Gold Rush. On January 7th, 2022, a YouTube animator by the name of Kane Pixels uploaded a video titled The Backrooms Found Footage, and the internet erupted. This video changed everything regarding the Backrooms and gave it a burst of life that it had never seen before. Kane went on to upload 21 more videos in this series, where he would go on to expand the lore of the Backrooms to fit the narrative of the story he was aiming to tell. And for those who were unfamiliar with the Backrooms up until this, the story Kane Pixels laid out became the new official lore of the Backrooms. Kane's take on the Backrooms built upon the original 4chan post by adding nuanced details to the world, implementing things like entities and a shadow organization named Async, who are trying to exploit the Backrooms for storage and housing purposes. And many games, YouTube videos, and stories took inspiration from Kane Pixels, and specifically the more in-depth lore of his Backrooms universe. In no time, people were making their own found footage projects with the Backrooms, and remaking Kane's Backrooms universe into games. Many people even added on to the already altered lore, and began adding things like different levels and entities, and all of these different rules you have to follow, and slowly began to turn it into its own sort of SCP Foundation mythos, where anybody could add on or make any alterations to the story and universe. Before you knew it, the YouTube homepage, Steam discoveries, and Twitch streams were all consumed by the Backrooms. The Backrooms became an easy way for content creators to farm engagement and clicks, and this phenomena would lead us into the next focus point of this video: oversaturation and overcomplication. After the rise of Kane Pixels' Backrooms series, and the media that stemmed from it, the Backrooms changed from a well-kept secret on the internet to every low-effort content creator's brand new cash cow. Countless videos were made cataloging the different fan-made levels and entities. Now, this is innocent content. I've made similar content myself with my Iceberg series, but the problem comes when content creators targeting children realize that the Backrooms has become a cultural staple and it's the perfect subject to make content farm videos on, which is exactly what happened. Nowadays, it is nearly impossible to find new Backrooms content that isn't slop. I mean, look at this. If I go to YouTube and I search up Backrooms, then I filter by upload date, almost all that comes up is content farm brain-rotted schlop. They just take the Backrooms as a setting because they know it'll get good engagement as a buzzword for the video title, and combine it with some other popular IP, like Poppy's Playtime or Inside Out. Then they chuck it together with some AI voiceover and stimulating visuals, and watch as money starts rolling in from kids who saw a character they like being chased by a monster with Backrooms in the title. And the only reason they know what the Backrooms is because they played one of the hundreds of Backrooms games on sites like Roblox. Now, I'm not going to pretend that all of the content made about the Backrooms is bad. There are plenty of good videos still made on the Backrooms, and I've played a number of Backrooms games, and a lot of them are really good. But the current state we are at now is that to find a good piece of Backrooms content is like finding a diamond in the rough. And it is for this aspect why I personally find the Backrooms and liminal spaces in general to be at the state they are at now. The death of liminal spaces and the Backrooms. Now, I just want to get this out of the way. It is in my opinion that the liminal space genre is dead, and you may disagree with that. And if you do, I applaud you for making it so far into a video, which the core premise of the video is one you disagree with, as most people aren't really open enough to engage with any idea they disagree with. And I also want to say that I in no way believe that Kane Pixels is at fault for the death of liminal spaces. I believe that his Backrooms series is incredibly impressive and admirable as a piece of art. I like the way he made the Backrooms his own by adding details like async research labs, and I'm a very big fan of the series he is currently working on, The Oldest View. I respect him very much as a creator and an artist, The problem arises when people see all of the changes he's made to the original Backrooms story and basically rip off his idea and begin to expand upon what was already an expansion. The Backrooms as we know it now is so heavily aligned with the liminal spaces as a whole that pretty much any liminal space image has been used as a Backrooms level or variation, and it is for this reason that I believe liminal spaces have died. Looking back to part 1 of the video, I made a clear point to show that the most important aspect of a liminal space is lack of context, and with all of these expansions to the Backrooms and the merging between the Backrooms and the liminal space movement being so prominent, we have pretty much created the context, therefore stripping away what made liminal spaces so interesting. For example, in the original Backrooms thread it states, "God save you if you hear something wandering around nearby, because it sure as hell has heard you." This is perfect because it allows the mind to wander about what potential threat could be wandering the halls, and it adds to the horror. But now we know what's in there because people have created and documented entities, where they are, what role they serve, and the potential danger. There are hundreds of Backrooms levels and entities all created, and this sort of overcomplication just ruins the whole concept, since the whole thing was created to work off of people's fear of the unknown. And now we know all there is to know, and the magic is gone. I hope that this video doesn't come off as an entitled weirdo complaining about things around him changing, but now whenever I see an image online of a liminal space, I can't help but feel a slight bit of sadness, knowing that the magic that was originally there is gone. Now, I know that that's a bleak place to leave off the video, so instead I'm going to talk about a piece of media that I really enjoy that utilizes the horror of liminal spaces in a way that hasn't lost its spark. And that is Kane Pixel's The Oldest Few. I touched on it a bit earlier in the video, but it really is amazing. I could not talk enough in depth about it in this video to do it justice, so instead I'm going to link Kane Pixel's channel in the description of this video, and I implore you to watch the series itself. I think above everything else, above being a content creator, Kane Pixel is an artist, and it is in my personal opinion that The Greatest View is his greatest work. I think he struck popularity with the Backrooms series, and I think that he would probably say the same stuff that I am about the oversaturation, and I think that's so cool that he's moved on to creating a similar style thing, but really completely original, other than it takes inspirations from real life occurrences, but other than that, the story, everything is made by him, and it really is an amazing video, and you should really go check it out. I've seen all of it, I cannot recommend it enough. But of course, this is the end of the video, and I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, as it really helps me a lot, and I would also encourage you to go ahead and leave a comment. Even if it's critical, you can go in the comments, you can call me a dumbass and talk about how liminal spaces will never die. I don't mind, you know, I read every single comment I get, and I try to respond to as many of them as I can, and I really find that the more critical ones are always the ones I enjoy most, because they show me how I can improve. But I guess without further ado, I'm just going to go ahead and sign off, and wish you all a wonderful rest of your day.